International Consultant Bureau. I am the International Consultant, your guide to learning the World Wide Web. And these are the Web Basic Podcast. This is number 4, getting your website together, wireframing and gathering materials, sketching your website. The website is internationalconsultantbureau.com. Easy way to get there, ianscheller.com. At the top, you'll see the International Consultant Bureau. Click on the link. Once at the International Consultant Bureau, you could order web services, domain names, hosting, all that stuff through me and the Bureau, as well as professional help if you need it, which can be done over the phone, web conferencing, if you want to meet up that way, and as well as email. And a lot of people ask me, well, why would I even book the International Consultant and work with you at all if you're doing these Web Basic podcasts? I can get what I need from you here, and that's great. Actually, that's why I'm doing these, is because a lot of questions and a lot of workflows and production is similar from project to project. So if you're building a drum set or you're building a website, there's going to be similar things that are going to happen there, of course, with different materials, but and especially specifically with web, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies that just come up again and again, and I just found it's easier. Ladies out here for free as far as branding, logo, all that kind of stuff, and make it available for everybody. So if you want to take something further, or you need help coding, or you need help setting up your website, whether it's design, or you want to have someone who's been working in the web work with you, I'm certainly available. And just click on web services, order web services, or reserve consultant time at the International Consultant Bureau site. Once again, ianscheller.com. And at the top, click on International Consultant Bureau. I want to give a shout out to Luprint.com. They are our sponsor. Luprint.com is printing business cards, flyers, everything you need in print. Usually it's good if you do a website, you want to get your printing to reflect what's going on in the web and vice versa. Used to be that everything would go reflect the printing, but now it's kind of different. A lot of people are doing their web presence and getting that all consistent, and then making sure their print is up to date with that. So today we're going to talk about gathering materials to get your website built. And again, we're talking about a basic business website, whether you're offering actual services or you're offering an actual product. Again, this is very similar from site to site. So if you haven't listened to the earlier podcast, go back there and do it. We talk about branding. We talk about logos. We talk a little bit about if you're going to hire someone to do your logo, if you have a logo already. And of course, we talk about domain names, hosting, and getting yourself on the administrative contact within your domain hosting and your domain name. So once you have all that together and it's time to build something, you could really cut corners. And what I mean by cut corners is you can save money and cut your budget way down by getting out a pencil, getting out some plain paper, and just sketching out your website. Now, a lot of you might be like, I can't do it. I'm going to do it wrong. That's not the case. You actually cannot do anything wrong by sketching. And it's proven that from beginners to professionals, when you sketch out an idea and just get it down there on paper, we're talking 10 seconds a page, maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but you're just going to do it with stick figures. It doesn't have to look pretty. What you want to do is basically get that pencil, make a box like it's a web browser, whether you're using Firefox, Explorer, whatever you're using, PC or Mac, doesn't matter. That pencil is the great equalizer, and so is that paper. Together, they are unstoppable. With you, immovable. So you want to draw that box. You want to put your logo where you want your logo. You want to put your intro paragraph, maybe something about your business. You want to lay it out and just block it out there in blocks. And you might want to put a little label. Okay, this is the intro text. Okay, down here on a page, we're going to have a link. And you want to lay out your navigation and all that stuff. Now, if you get stuck, of course, there's people you could hire to do all that. But if you have this kind of thing done already, you're ahead of the game, because you could show someone, say, hey, this is what I'm thinking for my site. It's based on this, this, and this. And what I mean by that is you can look at other sites and and pick certain elements, or it's like, I like how that's done, I like how that's done. Now, there's really no secret to what makes a website good. And there's really, I don't know, 2 or 3 things. The first thing is clarity. Is clarity of your content. And content's a big word. So content is your imagery, your music, your video, your text, whatever you have that's on your website. And you don't need all that, by the way. You shouldn't feel pressured to have something just because a buzz term, video is very big now, but you don't need video to make a successful website. You really just need text and image. Some would argue you just need text. But the text has to be legible, okay? And the page cannot be overly cluttered. In the beginning of the web, everyone would just throw everything with a kitchen sink in there. What happened is you couldn't read it. And it was still palatable or acceptable because the web was so new. But what people found was it's not much different than a magazine or newspaper, God bless them, as they go out of style. People have to be able to read. And in order to read something, you need space. And some people say, you need the page to breathe. So when you're doing your boxes and you're sketching stuff out, it's okay to put too much in there in the beginning and do a home page and, put in there what you feel you want represented of your business. What are the top 3 things or the top 5 things you want people to know about your business by seeing that home page? Usually you should go less, so top 3. What should they know? So besides having that clear site that you're sketching out, you also want to then branch off and actually build the site. So you get another piece of paper. Maybe you want to do an About Us page. So you got your index page. You did the home page. Index is home page. Index is typically what the main page is called once it's coded. So you're doing a home page and then you branch out and say, okay, I'm going to do About Us. So you do an About Us page. Maybe you want a picture up top. Maybe you want it on the side. You want a couple of paragraphs about what you do. Now, typically, less text is better because, the last thing people want to be doing, unless, everyone likes, there are some people that like to read, some people don't. In general, the last thing you want to do is make people's lives a book report. So text is imperative. Well-written text is imperative. If you have the budget to work with a copywriter, do it. A good one, because they're going to make your site flow. But we're not really there yet, so we're just at that sketching part. So pencil and paper, your best friend, because you're going to have a jump on the site. You're going to have it sketched out with these maybe 4, 5, 6 pages, however big your site is. And you're going to have those ready to show someone if you're going to take it to a designer and you're going to take it to a developer, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about shortly. So after you've got that together, a nice thing to kind of join together in this stage is your existing materials of your business. So a lot of people already have some flyers or business cards. You might have some postcards. You've already done maybe some marketing, basic marketing campaigns, whether it's mailings. Maybe you have existing web content that is good and that is pertinent. You want to either print that out, save it in one place on your computer. And we'll talk about that. That'll be the third thing we talk about, is saving and where to put all this stuff. But you want to gather it. Okay, so you got your pencil sketches of your site. Okay, they're not perfect. We know they're not perfect, but you have something there. And then you're gathering these other materials. So you have if it's printed material that you already have that you want to show someone, definitely get it in a folder, label it up, website materials. If you have a scanner, scan it. Don't worry if you don't, but if you do, scan it. And then you want to save it in a website folder that's labeled with your domain name. So those are the two things right there. You're already ahead of the game. And you're ahead of the game because, again, you're going to have this stuff prepared to show someone like a designer or a user experience person, which is someone who lays out the elements of the web page to make the experience of interacting with it smooth. Now, for most small business sites, you don't need to go this crazy. There's some very practical things you can do, like we're talking about here, by doing your sketches yourself and getting your materials together. You could do a lot of that and be successful on the web without paying, tons of money for search, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, to reiterate, you got your sketches, you've sketched them out. You took maybe an hour. Most people can do it, 30 minutes even. You just sketched it out. If you're not satisfied with it, you could do a couple more. Why? Because it's paper and pencil. It's easy. And you're going to keep that in your folder with all your existing web material. Now, more is better. So if you think you're not sure about something, you want to gather it up with all the other stuff, because there might be a design element, or there might be certain sentences or something in that existing material that either a copywriter or a designer is going to use and hook into and really do well. So more is better than less. You could always edit. If you have a big hunk of cheese, you could always chop it into little bits. Well, if you have a little bit of cheese, you got a little bit of cheese. You know what I mean? Okay, so last thing now is just organizing on your computer. It's the last thing I'm going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about how to take this web project you have even further. And so on your computer, if your domain name is, let's see, let me Google it, musicstands.com. Okay, get a folder, call it musicstands.com. Now, after you make that folder on the Mac, I think it's Apple N or Apple Shift N for a new folder. And on a PC, you could right click, make a new folder. Make it, you can call it My Website, but you could also just put the name, Music Stands, if that's the name of your thing, whatever your site.com, or just your site name. Inside that folder, make another folder. And you want to call it Website Materials, or you want to call it Assets. Something that is telling you that you have these existing materials. So assets is good, website materials is good. And in that folder, put the existing stuff. If you have a scanner, scan it in, make sure it's a good scan. Remember what we talked about in our earlier episode about logos and high res. You want to get a good resolution. Usually printed materials 150 DPI at least. Go for 300 if you can get it. 300 DPI. It could be RGB. Okay. Don't worry if the scanning settings and stuff like that's over your head. So inside that, you have your name of your website. Inside there, you have your asset folder or your web materials folder, and you're just going to gather everything up there. Now, another good thing to put in that folder next to your website materials, that's inside your web folder, okay? Get a little text document. It could be Word. It could be text edit. Whatever it is, put your domain information there. Put your username and password there. If you have a certain program that you like to store your username and passwords in and all that, store it in there. Because you want to have all this stuff in the same place, because there's nothing that's a bigger pain in the butt when your domain's up, or someone's contacting you, or you need to hand off this information, or you need quick access to it. You want to put that all in one place. So on that sheet, you should have, the name of your host, who you're using, whether it's GoDaddy or Fat Cow or whoever, and obviously by searching web host on Google, you'll find a bunch of web hosts. Do the research, find a good one that has a good rating and good customer service, but you want to put all that information on one sheet. You want to have the IP. If you don't know what it is, call the customer service. Say, hey, I just want my information. I want to make sure to keep it in a good place. So what you're doing now is you're starting to materialize and form this little nebulous, this nucleus of your website with your existing materials. If you don't have existing materials, that's fine. The least you're going to have now is some sort of sketch or some sort of idea on paper of where you want the website to go. And you can put it on a bookshelf. You could put it in the magazine rack, anywhere you could fit that folder. So that's it for now. Ian Scheller, International Consultant Bureau. We just talked about getting your website together with a little bit of sketching and a little bit of gathering up the materials and a little bit of saving your domain and host information, usernames and passwords, so you have easy access to it. Next time we are going to talk about hiring a designer, a developer, and we're going to just talk about what the web process entails and typically how it's been done. So hope you enjoyed and hope your project's doing well. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.